Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video with the adventures of the memory makers. If you follow the channel, then you know about a year ago, pretty close to the day, we released a video showing how we took our air conditioner out of our Bushwhacker and fixed the leak issue. So campers that have air conditioners in the side walls like ours, they use a window air unit and the whole thing is stuffed inside the wall. They're very prone to leakage. So we took it out in that video, showed you what we found, showed you how we fixed that. And that worked really well for the leak issue. We've never had any more water issues in our camper since we did that. And then during that video, I discovered how restricted the airflow was to that air conditioner. And I even remember commenting in the video that we would be dealing with that in a later video. So for the last year, I've been thinking about how I was going to deal with that. So I came up with this great idea that I was going to put a big vent up here on top of the roof underneath our solar panel to open that up and allow fresh air to be drawn down in the compressor. So what I found was this monster, which you'll see on some larger campers. So this is a roof vent made by Camco, and it's designed to allow fresh air to go into probably an LP refrigerator more so than an air conditioner. But I saw on a Bushwhacker 15 FK, they used the very same vent over top of the very same air conditioner to allow fresh air to get into it. And I thought, well, that'll be the ticket. So I had this grand plan. I was going to cut this all down and reduce the size and scale it to fit our camper and cut the hole and get fresh air into there. And then it happened. A very smart young lady in Connecticut. She goes by the name Emma Mac on the Facebook Free Solo OG page. Super nice lady. We've been up to visit her in Maine. We just love Emma Mac to death. She took the time to figure out what I didn't take the time to figure out. And what she did was she determined that that air conditioner could slide outside that wall. The moment I saw her modification that she done, that went by the wayside because no longer are we chopping holes in the roof to get fresh air in. That was what I wanted to do all along, was get the air conditioner outside of it. But I had in my mind, I wanted to use some sort of sliding tray to just slide it in and out with. And once I got it apart and saw how tight the opening was, I kind of threw that idea out because I just didn't have enough room to make the tray the way I wanted to. So I scrapped that, went with the original plan. We fixed the leaks, and then Emma come out and she just hit it out of the ballpark because she got that darn air conditioner outside that wall just like it's supposed to be. And as soon as I saw it, I gave her a call and I said, can we do this to ours? And she's like, absolutely. So that's what we did. And this is it. It's now encased inside of essentially a knockoff Pelican box. This is an Apache box by Harbor Freight. You can pick these up for like $54. I tried really hard to make this a nice clean install. It kind of goes with our water heater box over here. It looks good. I used the original screen as a trim ring essentially to trim it all out around it. And what we do when we get to camp, the first thing we do when we get to Indy camp is set that Kickass shower room up, because that goes out first thing anytime we stop. And what I'm gonna do real quick is I'm gonna set that up and then we'll pick back up and show you how we do this air conditioner. So we've got our Kickass shower room set up now. It takes about 2 minutes total time to set this up. And if you haven't seen the video on that, we'll put the link in the description. But this is one of my favorite mods that we do for people. This thing is just so handy. I just can't shut up about it because it goes out quick. It serves the purpose of giving people someplace to stand up, change clothes. You can put your porta potty in there, you can take a shower in there. It attaches to the camper wall, just like our annex room modification that we do, so you hop right out of the camper right into the room. I mean, it's just a really slick deal. So that goes up first. And one of the reasons that goes up first is I modified this box so that I can remove the lid when we use the air conditioner. And the reason that I did that was, and Emma kind of chuckled about this, because it was a problem for me, but not for her. When the lid goes up, Emma made struts that hold her lid up out of the way while the air conditioner is running. When I looked at how high the lid went, it was right about my forehead level, and I have this bad instance or a bad habit of winding up in emergency rooms getting stitches to my head. So I made it so I can remove the lid. And how I do that is I modified the pins so I can remove this one single pin. And I made this out of brass. It just slides right out, and that pin right there. It's got so much friction in it, I don't think it would ever come out going down the road, but it can't come out anyway because when this room is stored, when the shower room is stored, the pin gets blocked by the shower room. So that's the reason, that's always the first thing that goes out for us anyway, so it's not a big deal for me to set it up to take this pin out. Once the pin comes out, then there's just 4 latches. Lid comes off.
Now I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you said you make that pin out of brass. What if somebody doesn't have the tools, the ability to make a pin out of brass?
Well, brass is actually pretty malleable. It's an 1/8 inch brass rod I picked up at Home Depot for about $5. There was probably enough in there to do 3 pins. And you could take a pair of pliers in your hands.
Okay, so you can bend it.
You can bend that brass.
Okay.
And the only bend was right there on the end. I put a 90-degree bend in it just so I got something to grab and hold on to.
Can you hold that up again? I'm gonna just show. I mean, maybe I'm just being silly, but I think little details like that need to be.
So I did have to modify the box itself in order to, 1, get the old pins out, and 2, make it so that 1 pin could slide across. I used an oscillating end tool to do that with. You know, that's a tool that not everybody has, but it's one of those tools everybody needs. So
says you.
Personal opinion. So I tried really hard to do 3 things when I did this modification. 1, I wanted it to look somewhat like it came from the factory. 2, I wanted to make it reproducible so I could do this for others and so others could do this themselves. And 3, I didn't want to modify the air conditioner any more than I absolutely had to in order to get this to work. So in the event that something would happen to that air conditioner and it quits on us on a trip, we can stop in one of the box stores, pick up one for 150 bucks, take it out in the parking lot, spend a few minutes, change a few things around on it, slide it in the hole, and be good to go again with another refrigerator, or another air conditioner, not refrigerator. So that's kind of what I achieved here. The box fit pretty well. It didn't cover the hole quite all the way up to the top, but it was big enough to allow the air conditioner to come out. So I used aluminum bar stock and tied into the aluminum struts or the aluminum studs in the camper itself. The Bushwhacker is made with all aluminum framing on the inside of the walls, so it gave a nice solid structure to mount this to. So I've got aluminum bar stock on 3 sides actually holding this in place. And once you get it in, get it all riveted in place, it becomes very solid. I mean, you can rock the whole camper with the box and it doesn't go anywhere. I did do a couple of modifications in addition to this at the same time. One of which was this little hole right here. Not to catch my cap. So what I wanted to do, if you've ever ran one of these in this camper or this style of camper, you know that the condensate water, or the water that comes out of the condensing coil on the outside, that water is going to drain out somewhere. And in our case, it drained out right here on the corner of this fender. It would run down the fender, and if you were on anything but a sandy beach, you had a mud puddle right there by your camper. So you were rigging up buckets or some way to catch that water. So what I came up with, and the guys at the hardware store cracked me up when they came up with this idea, they said it looked like a beer bong for a midget. And what I did was I found a little funnel. I used a metal funnel, which I'm going to change to a plastic because you can see the metal already started to corrode a little bit from using it down in North Carolina. But what that funnel does is it sits right underneath the hole that I drilled in the drain pan of the air conditioner, and it captures all that condensate water and runs it to our fresh water tank. Now, when I say fresh water, we're not drinking this, but we use it for showers and washing our hands and rinsing off our feet and stuff like that. So it works really well. Let me show you how simple this is to install. So I take my hose, I run it down through the hole.
So there's a hole in the...
I made that, and it's right in line with the hole in the air conditioner when the air conditioner slides out. So that just sits in there. And then this is essentially another cap for our fresh water tank that I put an elbow in, and I put this in place of our fresh water cap. And then this hose simply slips back on there again. So we used this several nights down in North Carolina, and I'd get up the next morning and look, and it was bone dry on the fender. All the water got captured in this hose and got ran to our fresh water tank. So now, in order to deploy the air conditioner and make it ready to use, I simply reach in here, get my fingers on the side of it, and just kind of wiggle it out. And the reason I wiggle it is because I put foam seals that are expanding foam seals around the whole air conditioner to essentially seal off the 2 sides, from the outside to the inside. And I actually had to trim the foam down because when it expanded out, it got so tight I couldn't even slide it. So I had to play with that a little bit to get it right, but it slides right out and sits against the stops. And it actually sits right on top of that little funnel, right over the hole. So we pulled this out Tuesday when we got there. It stayed out the whole time, just like it is now. We would use it at night. We'd get, go to bed, what, 10:30, 11 o'clock, and turn the air conditioner on. We generally ran it 5 or 6 hours, and it did a great job. And I got to say, it's even quieter now that the compressor section of the air conditioner is outside the camper instead of being inside. The other benefit that I noticed was because that compressor fan, when it's stuffed inside the wall, is spinning all that hot air around and forcing it out into the cabin of the camper. When you get that outside the wall, no longer is it forcing that hot air into your camper. So the humidity level in this camper with this modification done this way versus the old way was much less than it was previously.
Okay, now I have a question. So when we got all that rain and it was on top of the air conditioner, that didn't hurt it?
No, the air conditioner is designed to be outside anyway. It's a window air conditioner. So the outside section of the air conditioner sticks out the window. We have one in our upstairs bedroom that sticks out the back window. So
I just had to ask.
So that's the way it's actually designed to work.
So Sam was going on and on about the benefits of the modification whenever it's outside of the camper, how the air intake is better and how it's less humid inside the camper, and all that's great. But for me, what I love about it is the amount of space that it creates inside the camper. That, of course, is the most important thing to a woman. Well, maybe not the most important thing, but it's definitely an add-on plus. So we're going to show you what it looks like when the air conditioner is pushed outside of the camper and how we use that extra space. At night, we like to watch movies that we've downloaded or series that we've downloaded on the Fire, and he made this little holder and it fits up on the handles of the cabinet, and it works great at night. But during the day, I want to be able to get into this easily, and I don't want anything to happen to the Fire. Putting it back here by our headboard, it's not good. I'm afraid it's going to mark up the wall. So when the air conditioner is pushed out, I just take this off of the cabinet and store it right there, and I know it's not going to go anywhere and it's not going to accidentally be stepped on or sat on, and then I have access to my cabinets. Now they're empty because we just got back and I spent all day emptying them, but it's nice to have that readily accessible during the day so you can, you know, grab a clean shirt or whatever. And this is a nice little place. In the wintertime, you could use it for an extra jacket or a hat or your mittens or whatever else you would ever want to put in there. One thing we are going to add is I'm going to add a couple hooks right here, one for my purse to go on at night because I don't want to leave it in the truck locked up overnight. I want it in here with us. So those are my modifications, some hooks on each one. Each wall underneath the cabinets. But this is a great space for my Fire to go and an additional perk to this air conditioning mod.
So you bring up a good point when you mentioned the wintertime. So now in the winter, we can physically remove that air conditioner. If we're going to go somewhere that we don't think we're going to use it, we can just pop that AC out and have that whole space for storage.
So I can fill it up with more stuff?
More stuff.
Yes. I like that idea. I mean, you can always use, in these tiny campers, you can always use more space. And one thing I did enjoy when we go to rallies is looking inside everybody's camper. You learn so much from other people and the adaptations that they make to the inside of their camper. So, yeah, this is another, we owe Emma another thank you because she's created more space for us and for me to fill up.
So like I said, we pulled it out. It stayed that way all week until we left to come home on Monday morning. We slid it back in hole. We took out our collection device. We put the plug back in the hole.
Our air conditioning bong.
Yeah, our air conditioning bong. And we put the lid back on it and we came home. I mean, it worked just the way it was supposed to work. It worked very well. You don't have to worry about water running out inside your camper now because all the water is outside the camper where it should have been to begin with. You don't have to worry about that hot air getting expelled into your camper because now the compressor section is outside the wall where it should have been to begin with. I mean,
and how long does it take to do that mod?
You know, that was the first one I did. So, you know, and I didn't get a whole lot of time, you know, to work on it, so it was kind of stop and start. I would say I could probably do that. I'd really like to have it overnight, to be honest with you. That way, the sealer that I use when I seal the box in place can dry before I put the trim ring on. But I'd say, you know, 5 hours-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And I'm not really doing this video as a DIY because every one of these little air conditioners is different. So, you know, the bottoms are all stamped different, the holes are in different places. So you got to deal with that. So each one's kind of a custom install, but it's doable, you know,
Okay.
and price-wise, you know, the box itself is pretty cheap to do. You know, overall, I didn't have, you know, $75 in materials to make this happen. It just takes a little while to get all the pieces cut and get the slide in and out, and get the foam in place. But we didn't have any bugs. You know, it's sealed up tight. I mean, no air, no water, no bugs.
No leaks from the rain or anything like that.
No, I mean, it just worked. Emma, thank you so much for taking the time to figure that out, because, you know, you made my day the moment that I saw what you had done, and I couldn't wait to just dial your phone number to make sure it was okay for us to do that.
Plus, she's a sweetheart.
She is a very, very nice lady and a hell of a good cook, because she, that steak she made us in Maine, I think still rates as the top steak we've ever had.
Oh, definitely.
It
without doubt, no question.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Emma, and we look forward to seeing Emma and others at the Northeast Bushwhacker Rally. We're going to be there, gosh, I gotta remember the dates now. It's in October. Is that Columbus Day weekend? I think.
No, but if you're from Canada, it's their Thanksgiving, so.
It is Canadian Thanksgiving.
Yeah, if you know when that is.
It's the second weekend in October, whatever that works out to be. Thursday through Sunday, I believe, is the dates of it. But we look forward to seeing Emma and others at the Northeast Rally. And, you know, if you're fed up with your air conditioner and you don't want water leaking in, you want to get it to breathe better, this is slick. I mean, Emma just hit this out of the park when she did it. So
she did.
Thank you very much for watching. Till the next one, happy camping.